And it looks like we are live. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm NTG Budget Brew, and welcome to today's Budget Brew. Today, we're going to build a zero angel deck. That is the goal. Now, what does that mean? Well, there was a card that I saw one of my opponents use that seemed really fun to build around. And it was called, I think, Valkyrie's Call. Yeah, it's a card that I think came out in Foundations. I mean, that's the Foundation set symbol. I don't know if there's an older version of this card. But Valkyrie's Call is 3 and 2 white for an enchantment that says, whenever a non-token, non-angel creature you control dies, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control with a +1/+1 counter on it. It has flying and is an angel in addition to its other types. So this will turn your non-angel creatures into angels. I was like, that sounds fun. I like playing white decks. I like creature heavy decks. This is a white card. Wants you to run creatures that are non-angels. I'm down for it. So this is a 5-drop enchantment. I don't think I want to run a full playset of this. It doesn't do anything for us early game. We have to have an established board before we play the Valkyrie's Call. And again, it's a 5-drop. It would just be clunky if we ran a full playset of it. Now, there is a card that I love to run with enchantments in white. It is Moon Blessed Cleric. It is a 3/2 human elf cleric that says, when this creature enters, you may search your library for an enchantment card, reveal it, then shuffle, and put that card on top. So I'm going to run at least 2 copies of Moon Blessed Cleric. We may go up to a full playset, but this can tutor the Valkyrie's Call to the top of our deck. So, you know, by having 2 of these, it's like we have a full playset of Valkyrie's Call. I think that's a good start. Now, since we're only going to run 2 copies of Valkyrie's Call, we have 2 slots left for rare cards. Guide of Souls is, I was going to say, I want something else that turns our creatures into angels. I was going to look something up, but you know, Guide of Souls is a really hard creature to ignore. It is 1 white for a 1/2 human cleric. Whenever another creature you control enters, you gain a life and an energy counter. So this is going to benefit from ETB triggers, which we're going to get additional ETBs from Valkyrie's Call. Our creatures, they're going to die. They're going to re-enter. And this says, whenever you attack, you may pay 4 energy counters. When you do, put 2 +1/+1 counters and a flying counter on target attacking creature. It becomes an angel in addition to its other types. I think this is it. I think this is our other rare. I think we're going to run 2 copies of Guide of Souls because it's just insane. We may even go up to 3 copies of Guide of Souls and then just run 1 Valkyrie's Call. We go down to 1 Valkyrie's Call. If we go down to 1 Valkyrie's Call, we're definitely running a full playset of Moon Blessed Cleric. Running a full playset of Moon Blessed Cleric, then we need more enchantments in the deck. Spirited Companion is an enchantment creature that we could tutor to the top of our deck with Moon Blessed Cleric. Is also definitely a card that I was already considering for the deck because when it enters, you draw a card. So we can play this early, we get to draw a card. If it dies while we have the Valkyrie's Call out, Spirited Companion will just get to come back. We get an additional ETB trigger, and it'll be a 2/2 flyer, 2/2 flying angel. So I think this is a good start so far. Enchantment. There is an enchantment that likes energy counters. See, I can't think of the name of it, and I don't know how to add an energy enchantment symbol into the search bar. I could pull up Scryfall, but it's like a 1 or 2 drop. So I'm gonna see if I can find it. Static Prison. Static Prison is 1 white for an enchantment that says, when this enters, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls until this enchantment leaves the battlefield. You get 2 energy counters. At the beginning of your first main phase, sacrifice this enchantment unless you pay an energy counter. This could be good removal that synergizes with our deck. This can give us additional... give me 1 second. So, Static Prison. So far, this synergizes extremely well with the rest of our deck. This is removal if we need it, which Moonblessed Cleric can go tutor, and it gives us additional energy counters, which we may or may not want to use with Guide of Souls ability. So normally for a deck, I would run Ossification, but since we have the additional energy synergy with Guide of Souls, I think it's Static Prison. I think this will be our main cheap and early game removal spell. Let's see, what else? So something to keep in mind about Valkyrie's Call is that this says whenever a non-token creature you control dies. So we're going to be looking at other cheap creatures that have ETB effects, but we do not want the cards that create creature tokens. Normally, I like running those cards. Like, let's see. Something like an invasion, reinforcements, that would normally be good. You're able to go more wide, but then the creature token you get. Of course, as soon as I start recording, my dogs decide they need to lose their shit at everything that exists outside. Yeah, we want creatures with good ETBs, but that do not make token. I'm gonna go. My God. Resolute Reinforcements, normally a really good creature that I like to run in creature heavy white decks. On ETB, you make a 1/1 token. It's not going to work for this deck. We want non-creature, or we want creatures that do not make tokens, but still have a good ETB. Excuse me. And normally I would want to run angels in this deck. Something like Youthful Valkyrie would be really good. 2 mana, 1/3 flying. Whenever another angel you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. But I think it'd be more interesting to not run any angels in our deck. So even though this would be an amazing 2-drop to add, we are going to skip it. Potentially skip it. We may come back to this. Let's see. Well, I might as well set this to creature. Creature, common, uncommon. Venalish Night Counselor. This is a card that I have run before, but I don't remember what it does. 1 white for a 2/1 human knight with enlist. Whenever this creature enlists a creature, as this creature attacks, you may tap a non. As this creature enters, you may tap a non-attacking creature you control without summoning sickness. When you do, add its power to this creature's until end of turn. Whenever this creature enlists a creature, you get a 1-time boon with when you cast a creature spell, that creature enters with a +1/+1 counter on it. That was like a maybe. It was like, okay. Code Spell Cleric, 1 mana, 1/1 vigilance. When this creature enters, if it was the second spell you cast this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. That doesn't seem terrible. Kinsbale Aspirant. I'll be honest, man. I hate this artwork. It is horrendous to look at. 1 green for a 2/1 Kithkin Citizen. As an additional cost to cast a spell, behold the Kithkin or pay 2. Whenever another creature you control enters, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Nurturing Pixie could potentially work. 1 mana, 1/1 flying. When this enters, return up to one target non-fairy, non-land permanent you control to its owner's hand. If a permanent was returned this way, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. This could have decent synergy with our deck. It could bounce like a Spirited Companion to our hand, which we could then replay for an additional draw, or it could even bounce something like Static Prison. If we use Static Prison to exile a token, then we don't have to pay the energy costs to keep that permanent exiled. And instead, we can play the Nurturing Pixie, return Static Prison to our hand, and then we can recast that later. So, I've never used the Pixie before, but I like the sound of it. Thraben Inspector, that's just a good card. When it enters, investigate. Topple, guys. When it enters, tap target creature and opponent controls. That's not bad either. I kind of want to see if there are any other energy cards in white that are good. So let's go to Scryfall. Here we can go add symbol and then add somewhere in here. Energy counter. Go energy counter, white, arena, historic, legal, common, uncommon. Search with these options. There are eight cards. We could run Eddy Trail Hawk, 2 mana, 1/2 bird flying. When it enters the battlefield, get 2 energy counters. When this attacks, you may pay an energy counter. If you do, another target attacking creature gains flying until end of turn. I don't hate that. Hex Gold Slith. Creature type is Slith. I don't think I've ever seen that before. 1 and a white for a 2/1. When it enters, you get 2 energy counters. When this attacks, you may pay 2 energy counters. If you do, against first strike until end of turn. Whenever a Hex Gold Slith deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on it. That is a very interesting creature. Sounds cool. I like it. Let's see. Jolted Awake is recursion. This is an angel. This is a 5 mana 4/4 angel. When it enters the battlefield, you get 3 energy counters. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may pay 2 energy counters. When you do, choose one. This angel gains vigilance and lifelink until end of turn, or other creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Man. Maybe we make this an energy angel deck. I like the idea of a no angel deck. I think that's hilarious. Voltstorm Angel sounds super cool to run, though. So we could make this an energy angel deck. Also, yeah. Does this tell me how to add energy counters? No. Aether Inspector, Eddy Trail Hawk, Hex Gold Slith, Voltstorm Angel. See, if I'm gonna go with the angel route, then I would add in the 2-drop angel. I would add in Youthful Valkyrie for sure. I would go Youthful Valkyrie. I would go Inspiring Overseer. But this doesn't come back from Valkyrie's Call. This doesn't come back from Valkyrie's Call. The 5-drop energy angel is cool. No. Now we're gonna go 0 angel deck. Okay, let's go back to enters. Let's see about other good ETBs still. So definitely could use some 2 and 3 drops. The Eddy Trail Hawk is still a slight consideration. No, the Slith is. I think the Slith is better. We could run Hex Gold Slith, which is weird and interesting. It has a little bit of synergy with Static Prison and Guide of Souls, which is good. What else would be good on 2? Professor of Symbology, when it enters, we get to learn. We could go in that direction. Annex Sentry. 3 mana, 1/4, Phyrexian Cleric, Toxic 1. When this creature enters, exile target artifact or creature an opponent controls the mana value 3 or less until this creature leaves the battlefield. Something with an ETB exile effect could be good. Something like Fiend Hunter. Exile another target creature when it leaves the battlefield. Return the exile card to the battlefield under its owner's control. Or even Fairgrounds Warden. Exile target creature and opponent controls until this creature leaves the battlefield. Is this the same? I'm pretty sure these cards are like effectively the same. But this one's slightly easier to cast because it has 2 generic instead of 2 white. Let's see. Gavany Dawnguard, 3 mana, 3/3, ward 1. If it's neither day nor night, it becomes day as this creature enters. Whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card, mana value 3 or less from among them, put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. I've used this card before. It's not bad. It's definitely not bad. We are going to be a very creature heavy deck. Right now, our only non-creature is Static Prison and Valkyrie's Call. It's got the ward 1. I kind of like it. Let's go Gavany Dawnguard. I'll go with that. And maybe I want a 4-drop. Was Aang a 4-drop? Aang the Last Airbender, 4 mana, 3/2. When it enters, airbend up to one other target non-land permanent. Whenever you cast a lesson spell, Aang gains lifelink until end of turn. We're probably never getting the lifelink, so I don't know about that one. 4-drop that enters. Courageous Outrider, 4 mana, 3/4. When it enters, look at top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a human card from among them, put into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. This is very similar to the Dawnguard, but it's worse. What's up, Michael? I'm going to build an angel deck that does not have angels. It sounds weird, but we're building around the card Valkyrie's Call. 3 and 2 white for an enchantment. Whenever a non-token, non-angel creature you control dies, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control with a +1/+1 counter on it. It has flying and is an angel in addition to its other types. So this can turn our creatures into angels after they die. And we're running 3 copies of Guide of Souls as our other rares. This is 1 white for a 1/2 human cleric that says whenever another creature you control enters, you gain a life and an energy counter. Whenever you attack, you may pay 4 energy counters. When you do, put 2 +1/+1 counters and a flying counter on target attacking creature. It becomes an angel in addition to its other types. So we have 3 copies of Guide of Souls and 1 Valkyrie's Call that turns our other creatures into angels. And right now I'm checking out 4-drops to see if there's any good 4-drop creatures that have good ETB that we could benefit from should it die and get brought back by Valkyrie's Call. But Valkyrie's Call specifically says non-token, so we can't go with anything that generates a token on ETB. That doesn't really benefit us. Something like Kyoshi Warriors here. 4 mana, 3/3. When it enters, you create a 1/1 token. It's not what we're looking for. Let's see. I've toyed around with this card before. Lux Knight Breacher. In Historic. I've run Lux Knight Breacher before. It's a 4 mana 2/2 human knight. This creature enters with a +1/+1 counter on it for each other creature and or artifact you control. I like the card, but since we're not going in a token direction, I don't think it's worth it. I'm not seeing a lot of 4-drops. And is Entreat the Angels legal? Have no idea. Let's find out. It is, but this is a mythic, so we can't run it. I'm pretty set on the 4 rares that we have right now. Let's see. Wingmantle Chaplain, that makes tokens. No. A lot of these 4-drops, they seem like they're garbage. So we just might not run 4-drop creatures. Yeah, a lot of these 4-drops that I think I would run, they make tokens on ETB. Again, that's not what we're looking for. Inspiring Captain is almost good. 4 mana, 3/3 Human Knight. When this creature enters, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. That's almost good, but again, that would work better in a go wide strategy, and we're not making any creature tokens. So I'm going to say pass on that. Relief Captain. This could be what I'm talking about. 4 mana, 3/2 Core Knight ally. When this creature enters, support 3. Put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 3 other target creatures. That I like. Yeah, I'm a fan of this card. I don't know if I want to run a full playset, but at least 2 copies I like the idea of. If we don't go with a full playset, then I think I want to add Borrowed Time into the deck. Just as, ooh, did I misspell this? Oh, there we go. I think we want to add in 2 copies of Borrowed Time because we have the Static Prisons as early game removal, but it also isn't permanent removal, right? Because we have to pay the energy counter at our upkeep or at the beginning of your first main phase. Whereas Borrowed Time could just be hard removal, right? Exile target non-land permanent, full stop. Well, until it leaves the battlefield. But you get it. So we could always tutor this with our Moonblessed Cleric if we need it. Which case, we still have 4 slots left in the deck. Like we got options still. I'm thinking probably another 2-drop. We're pretty heavy in 1-drops already. I think just another 2-drop would be good. Just something that says enters is a creature, 2-drop. Oh, you know what? I've always liked Ambitious Farmhand. When it enters, you may search your library for a basic Plains card, reveal it, put it in your hand, and shuffle. We are trying to get up to 5 mana with Valkyrie's Call. This definitely helps. And this has Coven, pay 3 mana, transform this creature, activate only if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers. Since we're going to be putting counters on creatures with Guide of Souls, I think there's a good chance that we can get that. X-Gold Slith already has 2 power. Ambitious Farmhand counts itself, so that's 1, that's 2. We do have a lot of 1-power creatures. Gavany Dawnguard is a 3. Moonblessed Cleric is a 3. I think Farmhand is the move. Let's go with Ambitious Farmhand. I maybe want to add in 1 Dawnbringer Cleric as well. 2 mana, 1/4 human cleric. When it enters, choose 1. You gain 2 life, destroy target enchantment, or exile target card from a graveyard. That's a really good card just in general. Whip Quarter. I think I want to fit in a 1 of cleric. But let me see what Whip Quarter is. I don't know what that card is, but it doesn't look like we have it on Arena. Or it's another rare card. Oh yeah, no, that's definitely not on Arena. Okay, so the question is, to fit in the 1 of Cleric, the Dawnbringer, do I go down? I kind of want to just cut a land. Our average CMC for the deck is 2.2. I'm going to cut out a Plains, and we should have no problem hitting our land drops because we have the full playset of Ambitious Farmhand in the deck now too. So I'm going to cut out 1 land. I'm going to throw in a 1 of Dawnbringer Cleric because that's just a flexible ETB. Can be life gain if we're going up against aggro. Destroy target enchantment. That's always nice. An exile target card from a graveyard. There have been a decent amount of recursion decks running around in Historic. I've mostly seen them on ranked, not so much in casuals, but this could snipe a recursion target and that'd just be really cool. And then lastly, I'm going to add in 2 copies of the Desert Land Chefette Dunes. Chefette Dune says, pay for tap sack a desert, which it is a desert. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. We're going to add in 2 copies of Chefette Dunes. And I think that should be good. I think that should be version 1 of the deck. I think we're good to go hop into some matches, see how it feels. All right, that wasn't too bad. Took me like 20 minutes to throw that together. I kept having to stop to go tell my dogs to stop barking. I think one of my Amazon packages got delivered, and I think that's why they're tripping out so hard. They're probably barking when the truck pulled up and then barking once the dude walked up. Opening hand looks good. We've got draw spells. We've got 3 lands, removal. We've got Hex Gold Slith, which is just an aggressive 2-drop. This is a 2-mana 2/2. When this creature enters, you get 2 energy counters. When this creature attacks, you may pay 2 energy counters. If you do, it gains first strike until end of turn. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, we may have just died already. This is a turn 1 OTK that our opponent just happened to open with, which is super unlucky. So, what just happened is our opponent played an Ornithopter. They paid 1 black for Culling the Weak, which says, as an additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice a creature, you add 4 black mana. With that 4 black mana, they've just cast Balustrade Spy. When this enters, target player reveals cards from top of their library until they reveal a land card and then puts those cards into their graveyard. Their deck does not have any lands. The land they just played is an MDFC land. When these dual-sided lands are in your library, they are only seen as the non-land half. So your library checks it, it sees this as an instant. He's about to exile his whole graveyard, or he's going to exile his whole deck. It's all going to go into his graveyard, and he's going to return a bunch of creatures from his graveyard to the battlefield. We're going to take a bunch of damage from Creeping Chill, I believe is the card. Yes, Creeping Chill, we're going to take 12 damage from that. He's going to cast Group Project, which you can flashback for free by tapping 3 untapped creatures you control, which he has thanks to these Narcomoebas that say when they get milled, come to the battlefield. And then he brings back 4 Arclight Phoenixes, because these say, at the beginning of combat, if you cast 3 or more instant or sorcery spells this turn, return this card from the graveyard to the battlefield. And these have flying and haste. He gets a swing in for 12 damage. We die. The fact that we just got turn 1 OTK'd, super unlucky. The fact that he just happened to open it, super unlucky. I've tried running that deck. It took me like 10 tries to get a turn 1 OTK. So that was a really unfortunate start. And there was literally nothing we could do about that. Not a single thing. So not a good game 1, but that had nothing to do with the deck. Our deck did nothing wrong. It just didn't, open a turn 1 OTK. So let's go into game 2, and hopefully this will be a real match. This opening hand still looks very good. Probably even better than the hand that we had before. We have a nice 1-2-3 curve, and we get to start with turn 1 Guide of Souls. Guide of Souls is nuts. This card is insane. I hate seeing it when my opponents run it in mono white life gain, because it's just really powerful. Our opponent started with a turn 1 Moth Rider Patrol. 1 mana 1/1 Fox Warrior with flying. They can pay 4 mana, tap this, tap target creature. Then our opponent played out 2 Iganjo Exemplars. Whenever a samurai or a warrior you control attacks alone, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Our opponent's deck seems to be pretty aggressive. Let's see. I would like to set up one of the 2-drop Sliths here. Ooh, but a second Guide of Souls, it sounds really nice too. Depends on how greedy I want to be. I'm not going to be greedy. We'll save Guide of Souls and the second Hex Gold Slith until next turn. When this enters, we get 2 energy counters. That triggers Guide of Souls. We get a 3rd energy counter. We'll say no attacks. Once we have 4 energy counters, we can swing with one of our creatures and then activate Guide of Souls. We get to put 2 +1/+1 counters on the attacking creature. It gains flying and becomes an angel. Our opponent draws their 3rd Iganjo Exemplar, so we take 4 damage in the air from his Moth Rider Patrol. which is kind of nuts. We could go on the defensive here. We could go Moonblessed Cleric and then tutor a Static Prison to the top of our library, so that way we can get rid of this flyer, because this guy's kind of beating our asses a little bit. So I'm going to do that. We'll start with Moonblessed Cleric. We go up to our 4th energy counter. Moonblessed Cleric's ETB triggers. We're going to put a Static Prison on top of our library. When I go to combat, I am not going to pay the 2 energy for Hex Gold Slith's ability. I will decline that and instead pay the 4 into Guide of Souls ability. Our angel became, or our Hex Gold Slith became a 4/3 angel. Because it just dealt combat damage, it got an additional +1/+1 counter. So we have a 5/4 flyer, which is pretty nice. It's pretty good. Our opponent just plays a Lizard Blades. Equipped creature has double strike. That's perfectly fine. We take 8 damage here. Okay, maybe I didn't. Maybe not perfectly fine, because that kind of hurt a lot. But we're going to cast Static Prison here. We're going to get rid of his stupid Moth Rider Patrol. Now, if he wants to swing at us, he has to do it on the ground, and we have blockers. So we can go Guide of Souls here. This will trigger our other Guide of Souls. We go up to 3 energy counters. We get to play Hex Gold Slith. When this enters, we'll get 2 more energy counters. And we gain 2 more life. That's also very relevant. When we swing here, we could make Moonblessed Cleric into an angel. I vote yes. Decline to pay that. Take action. Turn our Moonblessed Cleric into a 5/4. We swing in for 10 damage. We set our opponent down to 6. And our Hex Gold Slith gets an additional +1/+1 counter. It's now a 6/5 flyer. We have 11 damage in the air next turn. I think we got this one in the bag. Our opponent plays a Peerless Samurai, 2 mana 2/2, or 2 mana 2/1 Menace. Whenever another Samurai Warrior you control attacks alone, the next spell you cast this turn costs 1 less to cast. All right, we got it. Our opponent's deck was interesting. A weirdly, I don't want to say a weirdly aggressive Samurai deck. The Samurai decks, they are just aggressive. But their deck was a little bit weird because of the this Fox Warrior. Moth Rider Patrol. I've never seen anyone use this card. That's interesting. And then he happened to have triple Igandro Exemplar in hand, which led to his, the beginning of his game being very, very aggressive. We made the right call, though. Moonblessed Cleric, tutoring into Static Prison. That won us the game. So that was good. We got to make 2 angels that game with our 0 angel deck. It's good. What's up, Subatomic Surfer? I just saw that you followed me on Twitch. Thanks for the follow. Okay, opening hand. We're going first, and we have only 3 drops and more. 3 drops and higher. So this is a bad opening hand. We can't keep this. This we can keep. We can throw back a Plains, because on turn 2 we can play Ambitious Farmhand, go tutor our Plains, so that way we can still cast our 3 drops on 3. Start with the Nurturing Pixie, 1 mana, 1/1 fairy, rogue flying. When this creature enters, return up to 1 target non-fairy, non-land permanent you control to its owner's hand. If a permanent was returned this way, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Here we're gonna go Ambitious Farmhand. We get to grab a Plains out of our deck, swing in for 1. So Pixie is in here because we could choose to bounce our stuff and get additional value from the ETBs. Like this next turn, instead of playing a 3-drop, because it looks like our opponent just set up a Doomscar. So it looks like our opponent's getting ready to wipe the board. Instead of playing a 3-drop into it, we could bounce an Ambitious Farmhand back to our hand. We could recast it, get a 4th Plains if we want to, or we could just hold on to this. Question is, how much do I want to play into a board wipe? Not a lot. Let's go Nurturing Pixie. Bounce the Farmhand. I should have done this after combat. Swing in for 1, set our opponent to 18, and I think we just end the turn here. There's a chance that this is like a Poison the Cup or some other kind of just random foretell card. Our opponent plays Righteous Valkyrie. It looks like they're running Angels. Isn't there a decent foretell card that has to do with Angels? There's the really big one. Let's see. Starnheim Unleashed. Create a 4/4 White Angel Warrior, creature token flying and vigilance. If the spell is foretold, creates X of those tokens instead. They could potentially have just set up a Starnheim Unleashed. It might not be a Doomscar, it might not be a board wipe. I'm going to play it safe and slow. I'm just going to play Ambitious Farmhand. We're going to grab another Plains. I'm going to cast Static Prison. I'm going to exile his Righteous Valkyrie. We get 2 energy counters. We swing in for 3 damage. Set our opponent to 15. At the beginning of our upkeep, we're going to have to pay 1 energy counter to keep the exiled card exiled. Let's see if he board wipes here, though. Vanishing Light. He's going to get rid of our Static Prison. He's going to return his Righteous Valkyrie to the board. Since he's bringing the Valkyrie back, I am now thinking that this is not a board wipe. I don't think this is a Doomscar. Because why would you fight to bring your Angel back if you plan to wipe the board? You wouldn't. You would wipe the board first, which you had enough mana to do, and then you would bring back the Righteous Valkyrie the following turn. Oh, dude. Look at that. Look at this value. Look at this Dawnbringer Cleric value. We get to play this. On ETB, we get to destroy target enchantment. We destroy the Banishing Light. That returns our Static Prison. Static Prison exiles his Righteous Valkyrie again. We get 2 more energy counters. And that's just beautiful. That's value. We're going to swing in for 4. Set our opponent down to 11. I'm leaning less towards his foretell card being a Doomscar, but I still don't want to play our Gavany Dawnguard yet. Opponent has a Disenchant in their deck, which is surprising. And they're able to destroy our Static Prison. We have 6 mana. Our opponent just played a Starnheim Aspirant. I think we just full commit at this point. We go Borrow Time. We exile the Righteous Valkyrie and then go into Gavany Dawnguard. It will now become Day. And then whenever Day becomes Night or Night becomes Day, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card with mana value 3 or less from among them. Put into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Here we can go to combat and swing. It doesn't matter if we swing the Cleric. We'll swing 3 in the air, set our opponent down to 10. If he does have a board wipe, that would suck. We won't have like any gas to rebuild with. But, you know, it is what it is. That's usually the case for a lot of my decks. If we get board wipe once or twice, it's usually pretty hard to build back after that. It's just all the good protection spells. They normally are rare cards. We could run like Selfless. No, I think Selfless Spirit is a rare, right? Let me see. Yeah, Selfless Spirit is a rare card. I love running that card. But yeah, all of the good protection spells in the game, they're rare or higher. Here we have enough. We have 3 creatures with different power. We have a 1, 2, 3 power creature, which means we can transform our Ambitious Farmhand. So we're going to swing out. We'll go to combat. We'll see how he blocks. And then at instant speed, we can transform our Ambitious Farmhand. My dogs are barking again. We transform at instant speed. And we get to kill a Starnheim Aspirant, which is awesome. And I'm going to set up our second Gavany Dawnguard and just hope that our opponent doesn't have the board wipe. It was Starnheim Unleashed. Okay. He gains 8 life from this because of Righteous Valkyrie. We can't get through his 4/4 angels, which really sucks. So I'll be honest, I'm not sure what we're supposed to do now. I think we lose because I was trying to play around the board wipe too hard. He makes another 4/4. He gains another 4 life because of the Righteous Valkyrie. We take 8. I think it's too late for Moonblessed Cleric. I can play this. We can put Valkyrie's Call on top of our library. I say no attacks. I can block one of these 4/4s in the air. We take 10 damage next turn. We go down to 5. He's going to create another 4/4 angel, gain another 4 life. Chump block a 4/4. We take 10. We go down to 5. I can play Valkyrie's Call. We swing out with everything. Then whatever he blocks is going to die and then re-enter the battlefield. I don't think it helps us, really. I think we still just lose. But we at least get to see the Valkyrie's Call in action. Man, Chefette Dunes would have been huge here. Our 3/3s at least would have been able to contest his 4/4s. All right, we have 4 triggers. Moonblessed Cleric comes back, sure. Let's put a Static Prison on top. Hexgold Slith comes back. Gavany Dawnguards come back. Actually, our board is able to contest his board. We now also have 4 power flyers and 1 3 power. He gets to make another angel though. Righteous Valkyrie is an insane card. I really hate, I dislike that card. I hate how often I have to see it. He destroys our Dawnbringer Cleric, which is dumb because it now just gets to come back. So that's nice for us. And we will use it to destroy his Rampage of the Valkyries when this returns from the battlefield. Destroy target enchantment. Let's destroy that. Cool. And now we can use Dawnbringer Cleric as a blocker. That's good. He's going to swing 4 of his 4/4s at us. We can kill all of them. But we're going to lose like our whole board in the process too. Everything trades. We're left with a Dawnbringer Cleric and a Seasoned Cathar. We can go Static Prison here, which we put on top. We can exile his token. Go to combat, we swing 5, we gain 3 back from our Seasoned Cathar. We're up to 11. His angels gain double strike until end of turn, and he can tap them to destroy a creature with lesser power. He gets to create another 4/4 because he just keeps top decking these sagas. It's just saga after saga after saga. While we top deck a land. So lucky us. Here we have to say no attacks and we just pass. His angels gain double strike again. We can block the 4/4 double strike with the Dawnbringer Cleric so we don't die. He plays a second Righteous Valkyrie. He gains another 4 life. Is he going to swing? There he goes. He's going to attack. We have to block the double striker, otherwise we're going to die. We take 4 damage. We go down to 3. We pay an energy. Oh, we did not need to do that. We top deck a Guide of Souls. We go to combat. We can pay for energy. Make our Seasoned Cathar into a 5/5 flyer with lifelink. We deal 5. We set our opponent back down to 20. And we go up to 8. And we lose. As our opponent top decks another Rampage of the Valkyries. Okay, well. Unsurprisingly, our fake Angel deck did not beat the real Angel deck. And again, part of it was because I was trying to play around a board wipe that did not exist. But it's fine. I'm still happy that we got to see the Valkyries call in action. I liked it. Our opponent's going first. We have a good opening hand. Hopefully they're not mono white angels again. That'd be really boring. But the game likes to force mirror matches. I don't know why, but it does. The second I start running mill, I start going up against other mill decks. The second I run mono red aggro, I go mono red aggro. If I run any deck that has the word life gain in it, I end up seeing mono white life gain. Don't know why they decide to do that on Arena, but they do for some reason, and it's dumb. Our opponent plays a Knight of Dusk's Shadow, so our opponent is probably just playing some kind of mono black control. They do have white in their mana base, but still. From here, we've got some options. I think what I want to do, I kind of want to play the Nurturing Pixie, bounce the Spirited Companion, and then recast Spirited Companion. We'll then have a 2/2 Pixie. And we get an additional draw here. I'm okay with that. Knight of Dust Shadow has Menace, so we still have 2 blockers for it. He can pay 2 mana to make this a 3/3. Bro. Why are we playing against cheese? Our opponent just played Solemnity. Solemnity says players can't get counters. This is famously ran alongside the card 9 Lives, which says instead of taking damage, you put a counter on the enchantment 9 Lives. And then once it has 9, then you lose the game. But Solemnity prevents that from happening. It can't get the counters, so you just never lose. And it's stupid and super easy to assemble. So it's annoying to see that our opponent has Solemnity. We do have an answer. Static Prison can get rid of it, and so can Borrow Time, but it's still annoying to see. So let's go Spirited Companion, because we don't have a land drop for either this turn or next turn. We were going to miss our land drop this turn. We're going to play a Guide of Souls, play Static Prison, exile the Solemnity, go to combat, swing our 2/2 in the air, set our opponent to 18. Phyrexian Unlife. You don't lose the game for having 0 or less life. And our opponent scoops. This is also commonly paired with Solemnity, because this works the same way as 9 Lives does. This says you don't lose the game for having 0 or less life. As long as you have 0 or less life, all damage is dealt to you as though its source had infect. So you would get poison counters instead. And then once you have 10 poison counters, you lose the game. But Solemnity would prevent counters from being placed on players. And so you just never die. But since we had an answer, our opponent scooped. We'll take it. That was a cheesy match. Luckily, we had the answers that we needed to get through that cheese, though. And apparently our opponent didn't want to hope that they draw into another one of their combo pieces. Static Prison felt good. Static Prison's kind of nuts, dude. Yeah, it has an upkeep cost, but 1 white, exile target non-land permanent is pretty strong. All right, turn 1, we have Guide of Souls, so let's get that down. Our opponent's playing a deck size, with a deck size of like 201, 202 for no goddamn reason. And they still have removal in their opening hand for our Guide of Souls, so that feels bad. We're going to play out a Spirited Companion. We'll get an additional draw. We have a ton of Static Prisons in our hand. A little bit excessive. We don't really need 3 of these. Our opponent plays a Jade Orb of Dragonkind, which is a little bit surprising. And we're just going to get rid of that. We're going to miss a land drop here, which feels really bad. I would normally be able to draw with Spirited Companion and hopefully hit our land drop. But if I play this Spirited Companion and we don't hit the land, we're in a really bad spot. And we were not going to draw into our land. So now we play Spirited Companion. Hope we hit the land drop. There it is. Go to combat, swing in for 1, set our opponent at 16, and then we just end the game, or end the turn. Let's see. Is support 3 other creatures? It is. If I play Moon Blessed Cleric, what do I tutor? Nothing that I want. I'm going to play out the Hex Gold Slith. When it enters, we get 2 energy counters. Those 2 energy counters will allow us to keep his Jade Orb of Dragonkind exiled. Then from here, I think we just go to combat, swing in 2. We could set up the Dawnbringer Cleric. If I think I'm going to play Relief Captain next turn, then I might as well get the Cleric down now. We'll play the Cleric, we'll just gain 2 life. Oh, I guess I didn't need to play the Cleric. We did have 3 creatures already. Our opponent plays Miram. It's got Ward 2. We can just exile Miram, and we definitely should. So let's go Static Prison. Exile Miram. Pay 2. He says, oops, don't know why. We'll go to combat, we swing in. Decline to pay that. Set our opponent down to 9. And we end the turn. Don't know why our opponent said, oops. There goes an old Gnawbone. Can we kill our opponent yet? Pay 1 energy here, pay 1 energy there. Let's play another Static Prison. Exile his old Gnawbone. Play Hex Gold Slith. We get 2 more energy counters. We're up to 5, and next upkeep we have to pay 3 of them. Decline. We set our opponent down to 3. This should just be game. You would have to like wipe the board here. He's sacrificing his Maelstrom of the Spirit Dragon to search his library for a dragon card revealed, put in his hand, but he only has 3 mana left. So he like maybe gets a blocker, but that's not enough. A single blocker is not enough to keep him alive. All right. That was a good game. I got hair loose. That was good. You know, I thought the triple Static Prison was a little bit excessive, but it got the job done. Cool beans. Static Prison, give it a shot. And with that, we are now 3-2 with the deck. We have a 60% win rate. And it's weird. It makes our stats look funny right now because we have 0% win rate on the play and then 100% on the draw. So it looks like our deck super wants to go second for some reason. But that's just not the case. We just happen to go second against the turn 1 OTK and then go second against the Angel deck. Or we went first on both of those. If we had gone second, I don't think it would have actually made any difference for the outcome of the matches. Our opponent's running black mana. I would normally set up turn 1 Guide of Souls, but it keeps dying on turn 1, so I'm just not going to play it. And again, we know our opponent is running removal. And see if he kills the Nurturing Pixie or not. Okay, he's going to Inquisition of Kozilek. So we're going to have to discard a card. So that sucks. There goes our Guide of Souls anyway. Unless he wants to take our 3-drop. He takes our ambitious farmhand. He's trying to deny us mana. We top deck of planes anyway. Let's play Guide of Souls here. Our opponent gets priority. If they cut down the Guide of Souls here, I'm going to be pissed. Yeah, it kills the Guide of Souls. That's annoying. Swing in for one. Our opponent plays Chalice of the Void. Whenever a player casts a spell with a mana value equal to the number of charge counters on this artifact, counter that spell. So we can't play any 1-drops. That's dumb. I don't know why he bothered to play that. He saw that in our hand we had a 2-drop and a 3-drop. I don't know why he's trying to counter 1-mana spells. So we're just going to play out the Gavany Dawn Guard. This has Ward 1, which is nice. Hopefully he can't kill it right now. He's going to Thoughtseize us. He gets his own Thoughtseize countered. What was the point of that? I don't really know what's happening. We're going to draw a card with Spirited Companion, though. We draw into a Hex Gold Slith. That's perfect. When that enters, we get 2 energy counters. We go to combat. We swing 5. Our opponent's down to 14. I don't know what they were doing with Chalice of the Void, but it was a mistake to play it for X equals 1. If it was on X equals 2, it would have done a lot for us. They're going to cast the End. They're going to exile target creature, our Hex Gold Slith. And now they get to search our graveyard, hand, and library for any more copies. Our opponent's at 14. We have 5 mana here. I'm going to play Moonblessed Cleric. We're going to throw Valkyrie's Call on top of our library. We're going to swing in for 6 damage, set our opponent down to 8. And hopefully they don't have a board wipe here. They Thoughtseize us again, which just gets countered by their own Chalice of the Void. I don't know why they would choose 1. They only had 3 mana available when they cast Chalice of the Void. But, like, you could have waited and cast this for X equals 2. They eventually drew into 5 lands. That was a weird game. But we won, so I'll take it. But that was weird. Ooh, I have not been taking notes about these matches. I need to be. It makes my editing so much faster if I know which games are worth keeping or potentially keeping and which ones I can just completely delete from my footage. Let's go Angel, non-Angel gameplay. Game 1 was the OTK, so definitely not going in. Let me pull up my Scryfall. Yeah, game 1 was the OTK, and that was just stupid. Lee and he. Loss. No, that's not going into the video. Game 2. Sloppy Nachos. That was a win. Was game 2 good? I do not remember his deck at all. Against the Samurais? Yeah, that can go in. Game 3. That was a really long game where we lost against the other Angel deck. It's a really long game. It's a 12-minute game. That's insane. That one game pretty much took the same amount of time as the other 5 that we played around it. I'm going to put that one down as a maybe. I don't care that we lost because the game had a decent amount of back and forth, kind of. Towards the end, we started to get steamrolled, but I'm going to put a maybe next to that one just because of the length. Like that's a long ass game. Ibologist. That was a win. The Phyrexian Unlife game? No, that one's not going in. That one was boring. He was trying to 2-card combo us. We had an answer to one of the combo pieces. That's all that happened. There wasn't a real game there. Velar, he didn't really do anything. The Dragon deck, we did get to exile 3 of his things. I'm going to say yes to the Dragon game. It really highlights the strength of Static Prison. And then buy the Crepe. This one was just weird. I'll put this one as a maybe as well. That one's a maybe if I need a little bit more footage. Okay, and with that, we should be all caught up now. 6 games, we are 4-2. We have a 100% win rate on the draw, so when going second, and we have a 0% win rate on the play. Still. And let's go into game number 7. Honestly, we're doing pretty well so far. And we're going to call it quits once we get 10 wins. The goal with any of these budget decks is to get 10 wins while still maintaining a positive win rate. So we only need 6 more to go, 6 more wins. Chalice player felt like an NPC. It was weird. Yeah, I'll be honest. I think even bots would have played that game better. He emoted though. I don't know if bots emote normally on Arena. We're gonna start with turn 1 Guide of Souls. I feel like in most other games, isn't that how you normally tell that someone is a bot if they never emote? No, not necessarily. Not necessarily if they never emote. But if you never see them do, isn't that normally an indication that they might be a bot? Our opponents start with a turn 1 Dragon Sniper and a turn 2 Druid of the Cowl. I'm not really sure what they're up to. For our turn 2, I think we're just going to play a Spirited Companion, get an additional draw, get an energy counter, and a little bit of life gain from our Guide of Souls. We'll say no attacks, and we pass. Next turn, we can set up second Guide of Souls, which is massive. And if we wanted to, we could go Guide of Souls into double Nurturing Pixie, use one of the Pixies to bounce Spirited Companion back to our hand. And with that, we're going to have like 5 energy counters, I think. This will be 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 5. That's feeling good. Our opponent just played Fear of Change. 2 mana, 2/3. When this creature enters or dies, exile another creature you control. If you do, conjure a random creature card with mana value X onto the battlefield, where X is 2+ the exiled creature's mana value. So they exiled their Druid of the Cowl, and they got a free 4-drop. They got Pillar Drop Warden. 4 mana, 1/5 reach. Pay 2, tap sack this creature, return target instant sorcery card from graveyard to your hand. Activate only as a sorcery. Not really an impactful 4-drop, so that's good. I feel like they low rolled. Here we go, Guide of Souls. That gives us an energy counter. We play Nurturing Pixie. This will give us 2 more energy counters. We bounce a Spirited Companion, and Nurturing Pixie will get a +1/+1 counter. We drop another Nurturing Pixie here. And if we want, we could bounce a Guide of Souls to our hand, just so that this Pixie also becomes a 2/2. I'm down for that. Let's bounce the Guide of Souls back to our hand, because we still got the ETB trigger, and we're up to 6 energy counters here. Let's see, we'll say no attacks and end, since he has a Death Touch blocker. That was pretty good. Next turn, we have 3 mana. We could recast Guide of Souls. Hopefully we hit a land drop, Because I want to go Guide of Souls, use Static Prison to exile his Death Touch blocker, or maybe the 1/5 creature, and then recast Spirit Companion. Most games, yeah, some it's built into the game to emote. Yeah, oh god. This is annoying. Our opponent just played Collected Company, and they hit 2 more Dragon Snipers. They swing in with their 2/3, we take 2, we go down to 22. He has 3 Death Touch blockers, and a big 1/5 blocker with reach. I have 2 removal spells in hand. I can get rid of 2 Death Touch Dragon Snipers, but I cannot get rid of all of them. Guide of Souls puts 2 +1/+1 counters on target attacking creature. Eventually, we can get a creature big enough to get through the Warden. I'm going to use Borrowed Time. We're going to exile one of the Death Touchers. We're going to cast Static Prison. Exile the other Death Toucher. We will go to combat. We'll swing 2 Nurturing Pixies. We're not going to buff either of them yet, because he probably blocks 1 with Dragon Sniper and 1 with the Pillar Drop Warden right now. And if we had buffed one of our Pixies first, then he's just going to block the bigger one with his Death Toucher. Okay, he blocks exactly like I predicted. We trade 1 Pixie for his final Dragon Sniper. Now we don't have to worry about Death Touch, and we can start buffing our current Nurturing Pixie until it's big enough to get through his 1/5 blocker. Our opponent only has 2 cards left in hand. I think we're good. And we've got 8 energy counters, which means we can pay to keep Static Prison around for a long time. That way he won't get this Dragon Sniper back. Oh, actually, can this bring back... Ooh. You know, now that he played Collected Company, his Pillar Drop Warden that he got for free is actually pretty good. Because he can pay 2, tap, sack this, and then return target instant sorcery card from graveyard to your hand. He should do that. He should sacrifice his Warden, return Collected Company to his hand. He can't cast it this turn, but he'll have it available for next turn. Oh, look, he even has a 3-drop to play right now. Like, yeah, dude, just sack your Warden. Or maybe he's waiting to do that at instant speed. No, he would rather use the Emeritus of Abundance. 3 mana, 3/4 Vigilance, and enters prepared. He's able to cast Regrowth, so he returns the Collected Company with the Emeritus of Abundance instead. Okay, that's fair. He swings in 3, we go down to 19. We pay 1 energy counter to the Static Prison. Let's go Guide of Souls, number 2. We'll recast that. Play out Spirited Companion, get an additional draw and 2 more energy counters here. Play the Hex Gold Slith, get 2 more energy counters from its ETB and 2 more energy counters from Guide of Souls. We'll go to combat. He has a 3/4 blocker. We can swing with both our creatures, Guide of Souls and Nurturing Pixie, and pay 4 mana into both of them, or pay 4 energy counters into both of them. Connect for 7 damage in the air. We set our opponent to 11. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Now, our opponent's going to be able to recast Collected Company, so we just have to hope that he doesn't hit super well here. He finds another Fear of Change. Okay. He gets rid of his 4-drop creature, upgrades it up to a 6-drop creature. He gets a Deceit. This has ETBs based off of the mana that you paid into the card. So right now it's just a vanilla 5/5. This Deceit is doing nothing. And now he doesn't have a creature with reach. So honestly, that was a downgrade for him. Next turn, we can kill. Good game. Next turn, all we had to do was go to combat. Swing in with the 2 flyers we already have and 1 other creature. It was going to be Hex Gold Slith. We pay the 4 energy counters into the attack trigger of Guide of Souls. We put the 2 counters on this and make this into a 4/3 flyer and connect for 12 in the air. Or no, connect for exactly lethal. Connect for 11 in the air. Okay. I'll take that. Dude, Guide of Souls is nuts. We built this deck around the Valkyries card, but it's really just like a mono white energy deck right now. And Guide of Souls is kind of hard carrying. It's just, the problem with something like Valkyrie's Call is just that it's a 5-drop. It's a 5-drop enchantment that does nothing when you cast it. It does nothing when it enters the battlefield. It's just a backup plan in case your board gets wiped. And then you get to return all your creatures back and they're buffed. You get additional ETBs, but it's like a fail-safe card. It's something that you really only want to get down if you're already ahead on the board, you know. And at 5 mana, it's just slow. We're going to play Ambitious Farmhand here because we don't have land number 3 in our hand. So let's go grab a Plains, swing 1 in the air, and pass. We're chilling. Our opponent is running, well, I was going to say our opponent's running treasure stuff, but our opponent has a max deck size of 250. They're running everything at that point, so yeah, I don't know what their game plan is. Don't really care either. We can Static Prison this though, which seems pretty good. Let's go Spirited Companion, try to draw a card. We draw into a Relief Captain. That's actually a good top deck for next turn. And here we're going to cast Static Prison. We're going to exile his Horde Robber, which has a Sticky Fingers attached to it. We exile that. Sick. He loses the Sticky Fingers. We get to connect for 2. Set our opponent to 19. They do have 2 treasures that they're able to make. They'll have 6 mana this turn. They have 4 cards left in hand. Ooh, they're running Prosper. Prosper Tomebound. 4 mana, 1/4 Tiefling Warlock with Death Touch. At the beginning of your end step, exile top card of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play that card. He also has Pact Boon. Whenever you play a card from exile, creates a treasure token. It's a very good card, very strong card. Now, let's see. What do we do here? He also has Death Touch, which is kind of annoying. I could play the Relief Captain. It has support 3. We can put a +1/+1 counter on all of our creatures. But then he just has a 1/4 blocker still. And so we're only connecting 2 damage in the air with the Nurturing Pixie. I don't think that that's enough. I'm going to play Ambitious Farmhand. We'll grab another Plains out of our deck. And now we're going to play out our second Spirited Companion, get an additional draw. And then we just swing 1 damage in the air. I don't know how I get through Prosper. He's just kind of beefy. If we could find a Moonblessed Cleric or our Valkyrie's Call, that would be sick. Valkyrie's Call would go ham right now because we could swing into his Death Touch blocker. Our creature's going to die, but they'll come back as a flyer, and Prosper does not have reach. So it actually would be amazing right now. Our opponent exiles an Urabrask with Prosper, and he plays a Bootlegger Stash, which is terrifying and not something you normally see in 1v1 matches. Lands you control have tap and create a treasure token. Let's see. I think we repeat the same thing we did last turn. We just go Ambitious Farmhand, remove another Plains from our deck, play Spirited Companion, and hope we draw into the Valkyrie's Call or Moonblessed Cleric. We draw into another land, and that is unlucky. Swing 1 in the air, set our opponent to 18. Urabrask is a 5 mana 4/4 with haste. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile top card of your library. You may play it this turn. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, the next time they would draw a card this turn, instead they exile top card of their library. They may play it this turn. Okay. He gets to create a treasure from Prosper because he cast something out of exile. I don't think he's going to swing with the 4/4. Oh, there he goes. I think I'm just going to chump block with one Spirited Companion. That dies, no problem. He exiles his top card again. Ooh, we are out of energy counters. That's also what I was trying to draw towards with Spirited Companion. We now have to sacrifice our Static Prison. He's going to get his Horde Robber back. That's a bummer. From here, I'm going to play Gavany Dawnguard. It becomes day. I'm going to play out the second Dawnguard. Our opponent casts Power Word Kill. They're going to kill the first Dawnguard. They're going to spend all of their treasures to do it. I'm okay with that. Second Dawnguard enters. We swing one in the air. We set our opponent to 17. As game is starting to slip away from us. Really need the Valkyrie's Call for this one. Or a Borrowed Time. If we could get rid of Prosper, that would have helped a lot. But now our opponent just played Rakdos, Patron of Chaos. 6 mana, 6/6 demon, flying trample. At the beginning of your end step, target opponent may sacrifice 2 non-land, non-token permanents of their choice. If they don't, you draw 2 cards. So at my end step, do I want to sacrifice 2 creatures, or do I want him to draw 2 cards? That's a rough decision. He's going to swing Urabrask at us. I'm going to say no blocks. We'll take the 4 damage here. See, now I don't know how we get through Rakdos. 6/6 flyer is really beefy. Opponent has 2 treasures. He's going to cast Thundering Rebuke right now. Oh, and it fails because he didn't have the mana to pay for the ward. That's silly. Do I sack 2 non-land, non-token permanents? I will decline. Our opponent can draw 2 cards. We top deck a plains. That really sucks. We tutored 3 plains out of our deck, and we still keep finding more. We've hit 9 lands in the top 20. That's not great. I can play Relief Captain here. When it enters, we can support 3. We can put 3 +1/+1 counters. We can put a +1/+1 counter on 3 different targets. Because of that, our Ambitious Farmhand is now online. We can make this Ambitious Farmhand into a 5/5 with lifelink. Let's see. If I swing Seasoned Cathar and Nurturing Pixie and Gavany Dawnguard, something probably deals damage. Our opponent takes 6 of that damage. We gain 4 life. We go up to 19. Yeah, I don't think we're going to win this game. Literally, our next top deck would have to be Valkyrie's Call. Our opponent has a Palantir. Cast an Invasion of Tolvada. When this siege enters, return target non-battle permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield. And the only permanent he had was Sticky Fingers, which is the aura that says equip creature as menace, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure. And when enchanted creature dies, draw a card. He's going to swing 6 damage at his own battle, which is awesome for us, and swing 4 damage at our face. I'll take the 4 damage. He gets to transform his siege. He gets the Broken Sky. Enchantment that says creature tokens you control get +1/+0 and have lifelink. He has 0 creature tokens. And it says at the beginning of your end step, create a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token with flying. Yeah, I'm okay with him taking that. Play Skullport Merchant. That one's a little bit scary. This you can pay 2, sack another creature or treasure to draw a card. Our opponent now has a ton of end step triggers. Starting with Palantir. Our opponent can draw a card. Our opponent can draw 2 off of Rakdos. And they get to exile something off of Prosper. Resolve. And we top deck a Hex Gold Slith. Alright, we'll just concede here. This game's been going on for forever, and we just didn't draw 1 enough removal. I think we only saw 1 Static Prison. And 2, we did not find Moonblessed Cleric, nor did we find our Valkyrie's Call. And that was the only way, nor did we find, what's the other rare? It's our 1-drop, Guide of Souls. We didn't find Guide of Souls, we didn't find Moonblessed Cleric, and we didn't find Valkyrie's Call at all. And then we top decked, like, we had like 3 turns where we top decked Plains. So that was just kind of unlucky. We had a decent start, but then we kind of just got walled by Prosper until our opponent outvalued our deck. That was also a super long game too. Now, something that we drew that game was Relief Captain. It wasn't very good, if I'm being honest. I might want to cut this out of the deck and just run more removal. We could just cut this, run 2 copies of Ossification, and call it a day. Ossification would have helped us a lot during that game. See, we're playing against Mono White Life Gain. That makes me want to blow my brains out. We're going to start with a turn 1 Nurturing Pixie, and we are going to play this game out. I really hate playing against Life Gain, and honestly, I had a rule that I keep forgetting about, where I say if I'm playing against Mono White Life Gain, we just concede immediately, move on, and I don't count that against our deck's win-loss ratio. Because I really dislike playing against Mono White Life Gain, and I don't care if they have other colors in their deck. You start with a turn 1 Lunarch Veteran, turn 1 Authority of the Consuls, turn 1 Soul Warden. You're Mono White Life Gain, I don't care. Our opponent plays an Enduring Innocence here. Opponent's down to 4 cards in hand. If we exile Enduring Innocence, actually, do you come back when you're exiled or only if you die? When this dies, if it was a creature, returns to the battlefield under its owner's control. Okay. That's good. We can get rid of the Enduring Innocence. Let's go Dawn Guard, swing 1 in the air, set our opponent down to 19. We have double Static Prison in hand plus a Hex Gold Slith, which gives us additional energy counters. So whatever their life gain payoff is, we should be able to just get rid of it and hopefully pressure down our opponent. There goes another Righteous Valkyrie. We lost to that card already. Righteous Valkyrie is just, it's an insane card. Whenever another angel or cleric you control enters, you gain life equal to that creature's toughness. As long as you have at least 7 life more than your starting total, creatures you control get +2/+2. It's super easy for a life gain to hit 27 life. And giving your whole board +2/+2 is really strong. So we're definitely going to Static Prison the Righteous Valkyrie. We might as well just dump our hand. We'll go Static Prison into Static Prison. We'll get rid of the Enduring Innocence, and then we'll play out Hex Gold Slith here as well. We go to combat. We swing in a 3/3, a 1/1, and a 1/1 in the air. He could either chump the Dawn Guard with the Lunarch Veteran, or he can trade Spirited Companion for Veteran. He does nothing, says no blocks. He takes 5. He goes down to 15. He plays in a Johnny's Welcome, another life gain card. Johnny's Welcome, another life gain card. And a Starscape Cleric. This says whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life. So just by playing that creature, we lose 3 life. And he gains 3. At our upkeep, we pay our 2 energy counters for our static prisons. We find a Valkyrie's Call. We'll play this out. We will go to combat. We'll swing everything. I will decline to pay the 2 energy into Hexgold Sliss ability. He cannot block with his bat. It's a 2/1 flyer, but it cannot block. The question is, does he want to trade anything with Lunarch Veteran? If he does, our creature will only come back stronger. He says no blocks. He takes, what was that? 6, 7 damage. He goes down to 11. And Hexgold Slith gets a +1/+1 counter because it dealt combat damage. Our opponent plays Veto, which is a second one of these bats. So whenever our opponent gains life, we lose that much life plus an additional 1. I don't even know how much life we just lost, but we're down to 11. Go down to 9. At our upkeep, we pay 2 energy counters. We're going to sacrifice our Shefet Dunes. We can only activate this as a sorcery. We're going to give our creatures +1/+1 until end of turn. We'll go to combat. We'll swing out. I will decline here. If our opponent has 1 more creature in their hand, I think we probably just lose. We're swinging 8, 10, 12 damage. He can take all of this damage, go down to 2. And then if he has 1 more creature, I think we just die because of all of the ETB life gain shenanigans. And this is exactly why I don't play these mono white life gain decks. Playing against them just isn't fun. Not every deck is aggressive enough to get through all of this life gain. Our Dawn Guard finally transforms day into night, and we get to grab a creature with mana value 3 or less from our top 4. I'm gonna grab a Moon Blessed Cleric, but I don't think we're gonna see 2 more turns in this game. Our opponent plays an Enduring Tenacity, and I think, isn't this the version that goes infinite? Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. Oh no, it's just a 3rd copy of the creatures he has. So we just die here. He doesn't even have to go to combat. Yeah, see, that game, it's not fun. Our opponent did nothing. There's no interaction from them whatsoever. And it didn't matter what we did, we just lose. So not fun to play those games. And if we see life gain again from here, I am just going to skip that match. Oh, and the games are not, they're not fast either. That was a 6-minute game. It was faster than the one we played before against the dude with all the treasures. But like 6 minutes to sit there and do nothing while our opponent can just life gain through all of our damage. There's no point. The game's not fun. I don't like it. I usually end up tilting after playing mono white life gain because it's so fucking prevalent. Everyone likes to play that goddamn deck. There's just no point. Oh, you know, and I keep forgetting that I want to swap out these relief captains. I want to get rid of those and add in 2 copies of Ossification. I think that'll be fine. Here we play out Ambitious Farmhand. Our opponent started with a Razortide Bridge. Artifact Affinity is really strong. So we may just get our cheeks clapped in this game. Turn 3. What am I most scared of in Artifact Affinity? It could be a Simulacrum Synthesizer deck. We could play Moonblessed Cleric, tutor a Static Prison to the top of our library. That could get rid of the Simulacrum. Or I could just try to set up the Dawn Guard here. Next turn, he'll have 3 mana. He can just play Synthesizer next turn. If he has another 0 drop. Ugh. All right, we have to grab removal. We'll go Moonblessed Cleric. We're going to go grab a Static Prison. Swing in for 1, set our opponent to 19. They know we have the Static Prison on top. I'm hoping they just ignore it. They play the Enigma Jewel. This enters tapped, it's a legendary artifact. Tap, add double colorless, spend this mana only to activate abilities. Interesting. Our opponent has blue mana up. They could have a counter spell. I would be a little bit surprised if they did, though. I'm going to play out the Dawn Guard, try to bait the counter spell, see if anything happens. Play out the Static Prison. Do they have a counter spell for this? It lands. We're going to exile the Enigma Jewel. Okay. Swing in for 4. They're getting priority from something. I don't know if they're just holding up full control. They didn't do anything, so I'm not sure what they got going on in their hand. But something was giving them priority. They play Smothering Tithe. That's that's rude. That's disrespectful. Do I pay the 2? I kind of want to play the Relief Captain here. Actually, I will pay the 2. I'll pay the 2. We pay 1 energy into the Static Prison. We have Dawnbringer Cleric here. When this enters, we get to destroy the Smothering Tithe. Dude, the 1-up Dawnbringer Cleric and coming in clutch. We swing in for 7 damage here. We set our opponent down to 8. Oh, you know what? We've seen a lot of artifacts from our opponents' deck so far. And there goes another one. I was going to say, they might not be an artifacted deck. If they're running Smothering Tithe, there's a card that people like to combo with that. Let's see. It's where they force their opponent to draw like 10 cards. And then so our opponent gets to make a ton of treasures, and both players have like shuffled back their hand, drawn a fresh hand. I can't think of what card it is. It's in Azorius colors, though. Smothering Tithe combo card in Azorius. What is it? I'm not seeing it. Oh, Emergency Powers. That's the card. Yeah, people like to run Emergency Powers alongside Smothering Tithe. 5 a blue and a white for an instant. Each player shuffles their hand and graveyard into their library, then draws 7 cards. Exile Emergency Powers. Addendum: if you cast a spell during your main phase, you may put a permanent card with mana value 7 or less from your hand onto the battlefield. Yeah, so they put out the Smothering Tithe. They make both players shuffle all their stuff, draw a brand new hand. And because they have a Smothering Tithe out, they get to make 7 treasures. And then normally they're able to force more additional draws. And they just do a whole bunch of crazy shenanigans. That game I'm going to put down also as a maybe. Our opponent didn't really do much. I might even just say no. Bionic Chronicle. Yeah, I'll say no. Nothing really happened in that game. It wasn't very interesting. Okay, right now we are 6-4 with the deck. We have 60% win rate. All we need are 4 more wins, and we get to call it. I'm gonna go swap my laundry over from the washer to the dryer, and I'll be right back. All right. Let's get into game number 11. Man, I was hanging out at a family friend's place like 2 nights ago because they were barbecuing. I got bit the fuck up by some bugs. Like 3 or 4 bites that weren't so bad, but I've got one that's like swelling a little bit. The other one's small little tiny little bites. But one feels gross. All right, we were unable to find an opponent for some reason. Let's try that again. All right, there we go. I forgot again to swap out these relief captains. We're gonna go turn 1, nurturing pixie. Playing against some mono red goblins. This should be a good matchup for us. Double 4-drop is not what we want to see there, though. We go ambitious farmhand, grab a plains, swing in with our nurturing pixie, set our opponent to 19. They swing their goblin javelineer, which we do not block, because this says whenever it becomes blocked, it deals 1 damage to target creature blocking it. They play out a Battlecry Goblin. It's a really good card, but I think I have to wait to exile it. We'll start with a Dawn Guard. We'll go to combat. We'll swing. Oh, I was not supposed to swing the ambitious farmhand. I was supposed to swing 1 in the air. I may have just thrown away our ambitious farmhand. That was a mistake. That was a bad misplay. Our opponent plays Goblin Chieftain. Do I trade? No. We say no blocks. We take 5 damage here. We go down to 13. We don't hit our land drop, which really, really hurts here. Oh my god, dude. If these 2 relief captains were ossifications, we would be destroying this guy. We'd go ossification, get rid of the Goblin Chieftain, static prison, get rid of the Battlecry Goblin. But now we're getting absolutely fucked. I'll say no attacks, just hold up blockers so we don't die. These double 4-drops are ruining our hand. He has second Goblin Chieftain. Gonna swing out again. I'm gonna block a 3/3 this time because I don't think we can afford to take another 5 damage. We're down to 11. Here's a Spirited Companion. Even if this draws us into our 4th land, we don't have anything else to play alongside it. There's land number 4, but I think it's just too late. All right, we're gonna concede, and I'm gonna go swap out these relief captains before I forget again. That was bad. Maybe I go down to 3 static prisons then. I could go 3 static prisons and then third copy of ossification. And then we have 2 copies of borrow time as well. I'll say yes. So now we have 8 removal spells. Okay, we're going first. No 1-drop, that's fine. Turn 2, we're gonna go Ambitious Farmhand, go grab a Plains. And with this third land in our hand, we can now cast all of our spells. Our opponent starts with a Skull Piercer Gnat. 2 mana, 1/1, Flying Toxic 1. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, a random non-land card in that player's hand perpetually gains. When you cast a spell, you get a poison counter. Let's get rid of you. We're gonna go Static Prison. We'll get rid of the flyer. Play out the Hex Gold Slith. When this enters, we get 2 more energy counters, so we go up to 4. Go to combat, swing 1. Our opponent reveals that they're running 3 colors. They do have black in their deck. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some removal here. There goes a Shoot the Sheriff. Yep. They destroy our Slith. That's fine. Don't love it, but that's fine. We're about to miss a land drop, which sucks. I could either go Moonblessed Cleric, put an Ossification, or I put a Spirited Companion on top of her deck. But I don't love it. I think I'm just going to set up the Dawn Guard. It has Ward 1. Swing in for 1, set our opponent to 18. And we really shouldn't miss this many land drops. We're only running 1 less land than is normal. We have 23 lands in the deck still. Okay, there's another Ambitious Farmhand. We can play this and go get our 4th land. We go Ossification here. We exile whatever this is, 3/1 that has Toxic 2. Go to combat, deal 4, set our opponent down to 14. We still have 2 removal spells in hand. I think we're chilling. Opponent plays Arwen, Mortal Queen. 3 mana, 2/2 indestructible. They can pay 1, remove an indestructible counter from Arwen. Another target creature gains indestructible till end of turn. Put a +1/+1 counter and a lifelink counter on that creature, and a +1/+1 counter and lifelink counter on Arwen. It was a whole lot of text. We're going to play Moonblessed Cleric because we just found our 5th land. We're going to use her ETB to put Valkyrie's Call on top of our library. We're going to cast Ossification and try to exile Arwen. Our opponent does have 2 mana up, one of which is blue. Let's see if they have protection spell for Arwen. No counter spell happens, no protection spell comes out. We go to combat, we swing 5. They've got something in their hand. Oh, they have a way to destroy Ossification. That was good. They exile our Ossification. They get their Arwen back, so they get to kill one of our Ambitious Farmhands on the attack. They take 4, they go down to 10. Damn, see, if we had our Valkyrie's Call out already, we could have gotten a free Farmhand. And it would have been a 2/2 Angel. That's okay. Here we get to play Valkyrie's Call. And I will note that we are out of energy counters, which means he's going to get his Skull Piercer Gnat back next turn. We play out the Valkyrie's Call. He's getting priority, but it's probably from the Clue token or Arwen's ability. No counterspell happens. He still could have a second Vanishing Verse to exile target monocolored permanent. We go to combat, we swing out. He can block the Moonblessed Cleric with Arwen. Arwen will kill it, and then Valkyrie's Call will return the Moonblessed Cleric to our battlefield. Will come back as a 4/3 flying angel. He instead chooses to block the Dawn Guard. And he exiles our Moonblessed Cleric. Takes 1 damage, goes down to 9. That was smart. Blocking our Dawn Guard with the Arwen prevented the most amount of damage, and then our Dawn Guard doesn't die to his Arwen, so it doesn't come back. Dude, is this another exile effect? This dude is running so many exile effects, which counters our Valkyrie's Call. That is so ass. We've seen 4 removal spells from him, and 3 of them have been exile. Exile target creature if its mana value is 3 or less. Exile target attacking creature. Exile target mono-colored permanent, and then the Shoot the Sheriff. Okay, let's start with Spirited Companion. Our opponent has 1 mana up still, so they can activate Arwen's ability to give something else indestructible to end of turn. I'm going to cast Borrow Time. We're going to exile the Arwen again. It can activate its ability and give something else, I think lifelink, right? And then it's indestructible until end of turn. Or is it both until end of turn? Remove an indestructible counter. Another target creature gains indestructible until end of turn. Put a +1/+1 counter and a lifelink counter on that creature. Okay. And we just say no attacks. They also played a 10th District Hero. Never seen this card before in my life. 2 mana, 2/3. They can pay 2, collect evidence 2. This creature becomes a human detective with base power and toughness 4/4 and gains vigilance. They just activated that. They can also pay 3 mana, collect evidence 4. If this creature is a detective, it becomes a legendary creature named Meliva, the Stalwart. It has base power and toughness 5/5, and it gains other creatures you control have indestructible. Say no blocks. To collect evidence, you have to exile cards with total mana value of whatever you're collecting. So he can still give his other creatures indestructible. Let's play Spirited Companion. We get to draw a card. Static Prison is beautiful. We're going to play the Static Prison. We exile the 10th District Hero. I go to combat, I swing just the Spirited Companion. Either it takes 1 or he blocks, and Spirited Companion returns as an angel. He blocks, he gains 2 life. Spirited Companion comes back as a 2/2 angel. We get to draw an additional card. We find an Ambitious Farmhand. We will play this. Our opponent exiles our other Spirited Companion. And Ambitious Farmhand hits the battlefield. We get to search for our planes. God, who runs this many exile effects in black, dude? If he had just been running destroy effects, we would have gotten so much value out of Valkyrie's Call. So much value. Man, I wanted this recording to be a quick one. Mono white was not the colors to pick for a fast game. Top deck of planes, that feels extremely horrible. Definitely not what we wanted to see there. We'll go to combat. We will swing out. See if our opponent blocks or not. They do not block. They take 4. They go down to 7. We get a poison counter. Let's see. We're going to go to combat. We're going to swing out. We deal 4. We set our opponent down to 5. We play the Nurturing Pixie here. We have 2 options. We could bounce the Ambitious Farmhand back to our hand, recast it, get another Plains out of our deck. Or we could bounce our own Static Prison back to our hand because we're out of energy counters. We can bounce this to our hand. Our Nurturing Pixie comes in as a 2/2. We can recast the Static Prison to re-exile the 10th District Hero, and now we have 2 energy counters to pay at our upkeep next turn. And I will show our opponent our hand. I'll show him that our last card that we have was another Plains. I liked it. I like that turn. That's the kind of synergy we've been looking for from the Nurturing Pixie. I'm okay with that. Our opponent played Ruthless Negotiation. Target opponent exiles a card from their hand. Got him. Our hand was empty. And then he flashed this back to draw a card. We're going to pay an energy into the Static Prison. We draw into a Moon-Blessed Cleric, which is a phenomenal draw. We get to cast this. And what enchantment do we put on top? Just a Borrowed Time. Opponent says, good game. Here we're able to transform our Ambitious Farmhands because now we have 3 creatures with different power. We make one of our Ambitious Farmhands into a Seasoned Cathar. We swing out. Our opponent isn't dead on board yet. They block the Seasoned Cathar. Our opponent gains 2 life. They take 5 damage. They'll be alive at 2. Yep, he blocks exactly like that. He goes down to 2. We're at 17. Even if he had a board wipe here, unless it exiles the whole board, we would just win. They play a Torrens, Fists of the Angels. And he concedes. That was a very long, drawn-out match, but we are in control for pretty much the entire time. We finally get to close that out. That was good. We got to highlight some synergies within the deck. It's good to see. That was an 11-minute game. It's so long. Dude, a game to me is long if it's like 6 minutes. But with that, we are now 7-5 with the deck. We need 3 more wins. We have a 58% win rate right now. And we're still doing worse on the play than on the draw. I guess with all the removal that we have in the deck, we want to be going second. All right, we are going first. We have Valkyrie's Call in our opening hand, which is nice to see. Our opponent is running a deck with 137 cards for no apparent reason. This should be a decent match. Opponent's playing mono white life gain. We're not going to do this. I already said it earlier. We were 7-5, so now I need to start tracking our own stats. 7-5. And this match just does not count. Aki, you are NA. You do not exist. Now, I know it seems like I'm cherry picking. And, you know, if I just didn't include any game that I didn't like, it'd be a lot easier to have a higher win rate percentage. But it's not about that. It's just such an awful matchup, and I can't tailor, and I don't want to tailor every single deck that I build for the rest of time to counter life gain. All right, our opponent's going first. This opening hand, it's okay. Turn 1 Pixie helps. Next turn we get to play a Hexgold Slith on 2. If our opponent doesn't set up a blocker, the Slith is actually, a very good aggressive card. Because once it starts dealing combat damage, it gets the +1/+1 counters. Our opponent misses a land drop. We will go to combat. Hexgold Slith. Why are you saying your go? I'm already in combat, you fucking moron. I'm going to play the Ambitious Farmhand after muting our opponent. We're going to grab our 4th land. Bro is ready to say your go. My God. All right. And we take a quick victory. Our opponent, it seems, missed their land drops and did not want to play that out. So we are now 8-5 with the deck. Pablo, we beat. That game is not going in the video, though. All right, we go first. We don't really have a turn 1 play. Turn 2, we go Ambitious Farmhand. Turn 3, we go Gavany Dawnguard. And hopefully at some point during all this, we find another creature, something with 2 power. Ambitious Farmhand comes down. We grab our planes. And we hope we find a Hexgold Slith. Ooh. And we do. Our opponent played a Howling Mine. So we, at the beginning of each player's draw step, we draw an additional card. We find the Hexgold Slith, which is nice. I am going to play this now. We're going to cast Static Prison, exile the Howling Mine. So now our opponent does not get the additional draw, only we got it. We'll swing in for 1. Next turn, we can set up Gavany Dawnguard. Then we'll have a creature with 3 different powers, which means Coven will be active for the Ambitious Farmhand. Our opponent plays a second Howling Mine. We do not have removal for the second one, unfortunately. We set up the Dawnguard. We go to combat. We decline the attack trigger because it just gives first strike. Oh, wait a minute. I just let the Slith become a 3/2. We no longer have Coven active for the Ambitious Farmhand. That may have been a slight mistake. Slight oversight. Our opponent plays out a Replicating Ring and an Exploration, but they missed their land drop. So that Exploration is doing nothing. Here, I can play out a Hexgold Slith. We now have Coven active again for Ambitious Farmhand. We can pay 3, transform this. It is now 3/3 with lifelink. We swing in for 9 damage. Set our opponent down to 7. This Hexgold Slith is now a 4/3. Our opponent gets to draw their 2 cards. Anything short of a board wipe, and we should just win. We have an Ossification in hand for a blocker. They play out a second Replicating Ring. They play out a second Exploration, and they still miss their land drops. That's got to be frustrating for them. That's real rough. They're holding priority. Okay, I was going to say they may have left, or they didn't notice that they were holding priority because of the Replicating Ring. But we swing in for lethal. Decline these attack triggers. He does have 1 mana available with the Replicating Ring. Does he have a fog effect, maybe? Plays a Tameo Safekeeping to gain 2 life. And he still dies at -3. And that is a victory. We're now 9-5 with the deck. We only need 1 more win. All right, here we go into game number 16. Hopefully, this will be it. And I kind of hope it is, because I still got a lot of stuff that I need to do today. I need to set up my guest room because my grandfather is coming to visit tomorrow. He's coming up from Mexico. I need to set up his room. I need to clean up the backyard a bit. I want to mow the lawn before he gets here too. I feel like there was something else I needed to do. Oh, and I'm doing laundry. Yeah. Got a bunch of stuff. We play a turn 1 nurturing pixie, dies to a galvanic charge. Okay. Our opponent is also running energy counters. You'll love to see it. I love energy counters. I think they are super cool. Our opponent plays an amped raptor. This card is insanely good. And he gets a free Guide of Souls. We are so not going to win this game. We can ossification away the Guide of Souls, and we really just have to do that now. This is going to be a tough match. Having to take a turn off right there to get rid of the Guide of Souls, that's real rough for us. Our opponent plays Ward Leader's Call. Creatures you control get +1/+1. Whenever creature you control enters, this enchantment deals 1 damage to each opponent. Okay. I think we just go Moon Blessed Cleric. Let's grab... I could just grab Ossification. Next turn we have 4 mana. We can still double cast spells next turn. We have the Ossification on top. We can get rid of one of his creatures. There goes a Soul Warden. God. Even when you're running an aggro deck, people still like to run Soul Warden because she's just that stupid. Our opponent plays Arabella, Abandoned Doll. 2/4 whenever it attacks, it deals X damage to each opponent, and you gain X life for X is the number of creatures you control with power 2 or less. We're going to Ossification away something. It probably needs to be the doll. But that's a big bummer. Feels like such a waste of a turn to get rid of it. I'd rather get rid of the Amped Raptor, but let's get rid of the doll. We go to combat, we swing our Moon Blessed Cleric, our opponent takes a damage. We're going to play Spirited Companion here. We'll get an additional draw. Our opponent will get to gain a life because of Soul Warden. We hit land number 5. Next turn, we can double cast. We can go Moon Blessed Cleric and Ambitious Farmhand. Not in that order. Yeah, they're playing Heliod. This was a mono white life gain deck in disguise. I thought they were cool. I was like, oh, dude, they're running energy cards. This guy's... He's cool. He's interesting. He's got a nice deck. No, it's just... He's got Soul Warden and Heliod the Sun Crown. He's just a mono white life gain deck with Guide of Souls too. His deck's boring and lame. And I regret being impressed by it. We're going to start with an Ambitious Farmhand here. Our opponent's going to gain a life. And then Heliod's going to put a +1/+1 counter on one of his creatures. See, if I had known that this is what his deck list looked like, we wouldn't have even played this match. We would have just skipped it. We'll go Moon Blessed Cleric. Our opponent will gain a second life and a second +1/+1 counter. We will grab... I don't know, Static Prison, I guess. We'll go to combat. We swing 4. Our opponent goes down to 11. They play Resplendent Angel. Like, come on, dude. I'll just concede here. That was stupid. You know what? I'm not even going to count that game. You don't count. Dr. Bucky, you're a phony. As far as I'm concerned, we're still 9-5. Oh yeah, and you get a big fat NA. All right, once again, let's hope that this is the final game. Because I got stuff I need to do. And also, I'm getting a little bit hungry. So I kind of want to order some food. We're going to start with turn 1, Guide of Souls. Ooh. Our opponent is running Secluded Courtyard. They chose, what, Soldier? They're running a Soldier Tribal deck. That's very neat. They play Zac Fair. 1 mana 0/1 enters with a +1/+1 counter on it. You can pay 1, sack this. Target creature you control gains indestructible to end of turn. Put Zac Fair's counters on that creature and attach an equipment that was attached to Zac Fair to that creature. That's a cool protection card. I like it. I am going to play Hex Gold Slith. We're up to 3 energy counters. I'll say no attacks. I really wanted to exile this before he plays out a second creature. But if he does not have a creature to play this turn exactly, then we have a really good payoff next turn. He does not play a second creature. Here we can go second Hex Gold Slith. We go up a bunch of energy counters. We cast the Static Prison. And we really don't have to worry about interaction from our opponent right now. Ooh. And they get rid of their own Zac Fair before we can exile it, which is interesting. That's an interesting choice. We go to attack. We get to pay 4 energy into Guide of Souls. I will put it on the Slith. We'll make that a flyer. We connect for 5. Our Slith gets an additional counter. They go up to a 5/4. I was going to say, we really didn't have to worry about our opponent casting anything unless it was specifically a creature, a soldier creature with flash. That was the only thing they could have cast there because they had 2 Secluded Courtyards, both tap for a colorless, except you can tap, add 1 mana of any color, spend this mana only to cast a creature spell of the chosen type, or activate an ability of a creature source of the chosen type. So the only play they might have had that we would have to worry about is flashing in a soldier. And I feel like there's not a lot of soldiers with flash. Let's see here. I'm going to set up, I think, the Dawn Guard. We got another energy counter. Our opponent played a Sky Strike Officer. We'll probably just swing our 5/4 at that. I will say decline. We don't need first strike. Our creature's big enough. They take the 5. They go down to 10. Hex Gold Slith becomes a 6/5. Our opponent plays nothing. Day switches to night, which triggers our Gavany Dawn Guard. We get an ambitious farmhand off the top 4 of our library. We draw into a plains. Okay, see, now at 4 mana, they definitely have a soldier that they can flash here. I'm trying to think. I'm going to try to look up real fast. Soldier, flash, and see what they're trying to flash in. Could be an ambush paratrooper, but it's probably something with blue. Zephyr Sentinel, maybe. Okay, let's go ambitious farmhand here. We'll grab a plains out of our deck. We play the Spirited Companion. We're up to 5 energy counters. That means we can activate Guide of Souls again to give something flying. Probably put it on the Dawn Guard. Swing the 6/5 and the Dawn Guard. We decline this first one. Our opponent just plays Teferi's Protection. That's okay. We decline this. I'll put these counters on the Dawn Guard. We cast 2 spells, so night becomes day again. We get to grab something off the top of our library. We could grab another Guide of Souls, but I think I'm just going to grab the Spirited Companion. Dawn Guard's getting us value this game. Does he just concede here? He's got 4 cards in hand. He plays a Boromir. We go... Oh, and then he concedes. Okay. And that's it. That is our 10th win. All right, our deck, it looked good in that one. The Dawn Guard was really putting in work. Now, I know that I chose to ignore some games, right? I chose to ignore 3 games. No, 2. 1, 2. Yes. So as far as I'm concerned, the deck went 10 and 5. It has a 67% win rate. However, even if you include the 2 losses from the life gain matchups that I said weren't going to count, the deck still ended up going 10 and 7. We still went positive. We had a 59% win rate overall with the deck. Swapping the 2 relief captains out of the deck and swapping out 1 static prison for the 3 copies of ossification was definitely the right move. And again, I kept forgetting to do it. It should have happened sooner. That would have won us at least one of these matches. I think against the goblins is when we got stuck with double relief captain in our hand. And if that had been double ossification, would have been way better. Yeah, so that is it. That's all I got for you guys today. Again, I was just going to do one deck, try to make it quick. It's been 2 hours and 15 minutes. It's about what I was expecting, about 2 hours. Yeah, I don't know. The deck felt fine. Guide of Souls definitely carried. This card is insane. Static Prison, I thought it got to shine a lot. It is a very underrated removal spell, but a lot of people don't run energy counters, but a lot of people run Guide of Souls. So if you're going to run this, might as well run the Static Prisons. Hexgold Slith, interesting card. My first time seeing it, I think. I've probably looked at every energy card before in the past, but I've never tried using the Slith before. If you get it down on 2, it's not bad. Late game, I don't think it's doing too much. I was mostly playing it just to get the 2 additional energy counters, so that way we could pay for the Static Prison. But again, it helped synergize with the deck. Dawn Guard's cool whenever you do get to flip between Night and Day. Ambitious Farmhand is just a staple card for me. I love this in mono white decks. Just being able to get a plains is nice. Just to guarantee that you hit your land drops, it's good. Moonblessed Cleric, great card. Love running it with enchantments. We only got to see Valkyrie's Call really in like 1 or 2 games where we got this out and our creatures started dying and then being returned. That one matchup against the dude who was running black in his deck, man, our Valkyrie's Call, it really should have popped off that game. It should have been insane, but he just had so many exile effects for no reason. But yeah, that is going to wrap it up. So